I'd made a record with my band, and knew that record, which is called Echoplex, was kind of the first solo record, really. It was ending amicably, and everybody was cool. But I knew I was headed into kind of a different musical path, and finished that record, and I started working on what was going to become Electric Wire Bird, and so just basic songs and stuff, and working it out, and still had a very rock feel.
Mm-hmm.
But while doing that, I thought, well, it'd be fun to play some coffee houses and stuff. I should make a demo, and so to make a demo, I had some musicians down, and I went back to this place in Virginia and recorded real quick, 24 hours. That became the basis of what was to become the Glad House record, and so the record I was making was shelved because I had to kind of stay with the Glad House.
Mm.
Joanna really and I started working on music together. She's credited on a couple of tracks there, and was incredibly influential on the making of that record too. And I know the next one I really wanted to work with her on it. So when that was all done and we'd finished the Glad House, we kind of came back to the record that was being made first. Whatever was there was completely thrown away. We just pretty much stripped everything out of the songs. Like this, we didn't want to make a rock record. We wanted to make something else that was different, and wanted to light us up when we heard it. Like, wow, that just sounds cool.
Literally deconstructed and reconstructed many of the songs.
That was a hard day to say, the record
hard.
You've been making and you're almost finished with, you're going to just leave. You're going to throw it away. We still like the songs. The songs were still okay, but the way we had presenting them was just not okay. And
there was many nights we would leave the studio just completely
throwing the kitchen sink at things and just not figuring it out.
Not feeling it. And then, I don't know, fortunately, I think for every song on the record, well, not every song we did this to, but the ones we did made the record. And there was that aha moment where it just clicked and suddenly everything just started flowing.
I produce a lot of records for other artists, so I know I kind of watch them go through it too, and it's very, very difficult. And having done it ourselves, it was like, wow, that was a hard moment, and also a really freeing moment to understand that, because then we started to really understand what we wanted to make, have a specific statement. It took that big act to kind of have a singular vision about it.
All about the song. There's no ego. There's no, oh, but I played that part so cool, and I wanted
we chucked
in
away
there.
so many cool things that we liked. It just part after part were chucked away.
Nothing mattered, and we just it was all about what makes the song the strongest.
Nothing was sacred.
Yeah, nothing was sacred. It's hard to write something and then be able to sit back and kind of look at it, take yourself out of it, and sort of look at it as its own entity and work with it and pull it apart.
This is like my sixth or seventh record, so when you're writing as a writer, you kind of envision the outcome in some ways. You kind of hear it in general terms, like the way it should kind of come across. That was not the case with this at all, because then we could look at the songs as not being, they weren't personally connected to us anymore.
Right.
They were almost as if different writers had come in and delivered this material, and then we just kind of went at it. Like, what would we do to make the song really feel like this is what the song wants to be, rather than what that the writer may think that song is.
Just took off the artist hat and just put on the producer hat.
It was a long process. It took a long time to do the record. But we never wore out, and Joanna's good humor and good sense made the record happen. It wouldn't have. I was definitely in the weeds, and she pulled me out many times, and inspired it to go further. So I would be here and have some time, and I'd work on it, and then show her the when she came back in the studio what had been done, and she would say yes or no, and there wasn't any question when she said no. That was done and over. On to the next idea. And we did a lot of really funky things. We had a Casio keyboard that we used on the record a ton. That was really cool. We messed with every sound we put down, warped it out, just to be sonically interesting.
Yeah, it's a true balance of organic and electronic.
As a kid, I remember listening to Top 40 radio, and a song would come on, and it was like the sound of the song was as interesting to me as the song. It was just the way it sounded. What was that cool thing? I felt like that rock had kind of lost that edge. It was really good at writing and and telling a story, but it wasn't really good anymore about being cutting edge as far as tones, and so that was really a big part of it. We wanted, and whereas EDM music was very good at being sonic, but not very good at an emotional diversity during the song, which is what great writers can do. You can so we wanted to make a record that had the primalness of and hypnotic quality, which I think you could find in Led Zeppelin and Jeff Buckley, a sort of kind of trance-like. Like it takes a long time to get there for a reason, not because being indulgent. There's just you need to travel through a bit of time and space in order to get to that place, that beautiful place. We also wanted to make something that was sonic like EDM, but had the kind of lyrical content and also melodic content and movements of rock, so or traditional pop music in some ways. That was the idea. That was the idea behind the record.